Since I'm gonna be seeing the new movie later, let's talk about The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King. Probably don't need to say this, but spoilers ahead, so hit that like button and come back later. So out of all of the Lord of the Rings movies, this one is definitely my personal favorite. My favorite character in this film has to be Frodo. Frodo is one of the best characters in the Lord of the Rings franchise, and I really feel like that this film made his character come full circle as he finally completes his journey of destroying the ring. So yeah, this is my favorite Lord of the Rings movie. I really love epic final battle stories like this movie here, where we see a bunch of stories that have been built up over the years finally pay off in one big movie. These types of movies truly do feel like an end of an era, and The Return of the King is one of the best final battle movies. Seriously, when you compare all of the Lord of the Rings movies, this one is by far the greatest. It has some of the best fights in the series, it has some of the best cinematography in the series, some of the best writing in the series. It's just one of the best movies in the whole franchise. But as great as this film is, just like with all of the other Lord of the Rings movies, this film does still have its flaws. One of the main problems to this movie is definitely its pacing, cause the movie is over 4 hours long. Yeah, the pacing of these movies are really the worst part of the Lord of the Rings movies. It's kind of like One Piece, where One Piece has a really great story, but the pacing in that story is just so terrible, where whenever you see the amount of episodes and how bad the pacing is, you kind of don't want to watch One Piece, even though the story is great. And even though this movie did have a great ending, the ending felt like it was just dragging on for the longest time. You could have ended the movie at any point in time in the final 40 minutes of this film. Still, this is by no means a bad movie. It is my favorite of the Lord of the Rings movies, and I do find it to be the most quotable of the films. Oh my gosh, that "you bow to no one" scene always gives me goosebumps. And as I mentioned before, this movie also does have some of my favorite fights in the whole series too. My favorite moment of this film has to be when the ring finally gets destroyed. After everything these characters had gone through, it was so satisfying to watch that ring fall into the volcano, slowly being destroyed, and having all of the sacrifices all the characters have made in these movies not go to vain. Also, I love the irony of how the ring gets destroyed, as the ring's power to make people obsess over it causes its own downfall to be destroyed in the lava that it was once created in. I give this film a 9.8 out of 10, giving it an A+. Anyway, that's a review. Go down to his comments, tell me what you thought of The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King. Share this video with all your friends. And click that like and follow button to keep up to date with all my latest content. See ya!